Let us pray. Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good afternoon. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, under this order number, I have one communication to make, and this is concerning the supplementary budget estimates for the financial year 2021-2022. As you are aware, Section 135, Subsection 1 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 provides that a county government may spend money that has not been appropriated if the amount appropriated for any purpose under the County Appropriation Act is insufficient or a need has arisen for expenditure for a purpose for which no amount has been appropriated by the Act, or money has been withdrawn from the county government's emergency fund. Further, Section 135, Subsection 2 of the PFM Act of 2012 provides that a county government shall submit a supplementary budget in support of the additional expenditure for authority for spending to the county assembly. Pursuant to these provisions of the PFM Act, the Executive Committee member of Finance and Economic Planning has submitted a supplementary budget for financial year 2021-2022 to the Assembly for approval. The said document was submitted to the Assembly on the 8th day of December in the year of our Lord 2021. As such, the supplementary budget estimate is hereby committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee pursuant to Standing Order number 186, Sub-Order 3, for processing within the shortest time possible so that that budget can be able to be utilized by both the executive and also in light of view of the fact that there are member projects which need to be undertaken through the funds which are thus being provided for in the supplementary budget. That is the end of the communication. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Proceed.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Proceed.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole House, the Machakos Count Abattoirs Bill 2020, Machakos Count Bills number 7.
Honorable members, under this order number, you are going to execute the Committee of the Whole House, which is going to be undertaken by Honorable Frederick Modoka. Honorable Frederick.
Okay, good afternoon, members. Welcome to the committee of the whole house. We are going to process this bill. Clerk.
Committee of the Whole House, the Machakos County Abattoirs Bill 2020, Clause 3.
Clause 3, no amendments. I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say ayes. Ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 4.
Clause 4 has proposed amendments. I propose that clause 4 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 4 be amended as proposed.
I now put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. As many as of that opinion say ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk. I now put the question that clause 4. I now put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. As many as of the opinion say ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Clauses 5 to 7.
Clauses 5 to 7, no amendments. I now put the question that clause 5 to 7 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 5 to 7 be part of the bill. I now, as many as of the opinion say ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 8.
Clause 8 has a proposed amendment. I now propose that clause 8 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 8 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed. I now put the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed. As many as of that opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 8 be, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 9.
Clause 9 has no amendments. I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 10.
Clause 10 has proposed amendments. I now propose that clause 10 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 10 be amended as proposed.
I now put the question. I now propose the question. Clause 10 be amended as proposed. I now put the question. Clause 10 be amended as proposed. As many as of the opinion say ayes. Many as of the contrary opinion nay. Ayes have it. I now put the question. Clause 10 be as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 11.
Clause 11 as proposed amendments. I now propose the question. Clause 11 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 11 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed. I now put the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed. As many as of opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question. That clause 11 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 12.
Clause 12 has no amendments. I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. I propose that clause 12 be part of the bill. I now put the question. Clause 12 as amended. Clause 12 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 13.
Clause 13 as proposed amendments.
I
propose the question that clause 13 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 13 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question that clause 13 be amended as proposed. I now put the question. Clause 13 be amended as proposed. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clauses 14 to 17.
Clauses 14 to 17, no amendments. I propose the question. Clause 14 to 17 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 14 to 17 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 18.
Clause 18 as proposed amendments. I propose the question, clause 18 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 18 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question, clause 18 be amended as proposed. As many as of that opinion say, I now put the question, clause 18 be amended as proposed. As many as of that opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, clause 18 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clauses 19 to 22.
Clauses 19 to 22, no amendments. I propose the question that clause 19 to 22 be part of the bill. I propose the question, clause 19 to 22 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 23.
Clause 23 as proposed amendments. I propose the question, clause 23 be part of the bill.
I move that clause 23 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question, clause 23 be amended as proposed. I now put the question, clause 23 be amended as proposed. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, clause 23 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clauses 24 to 43.
Clauses 24 to 43, no amendments. I propose the question that clause 24 to 23 to 43 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 24 to 43 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Schedule 1.
Schedule 1 has no amendments. I propose the question that Schedule 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question, Schedule 1 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes. Many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Clerk.
Schedule 2.
Schedule 2, new schedule. I propose that Schedule 2 be part of the bill.
I propose that the new Schedule 2 be read a second time.
I now propose the question, new Schedule 2 be read a second time. Any member can. I now put the question, Schedule 2 be read a second time. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question. Schedule, the new schedule 2 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Schedule 3.
Schedule 3 is a new schedule. I propose the question. Schedule 3 be part of the bill.
I propose that the new Schedule 3 be read a second time.
I now propose that Schedule 3 be read a second time. I now put the question. Schedule 3 be, the new Schedule 3 be read a second time. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Schedule 4.
Schedule 4, a new schedule. I propose the question, Schedule 4 be part of the bill.
I propose that the new Schedule 4 be read a second time.
I now propose the question that Schedule 4 be read a second time. I now put the question, Schedule 4, new clause, Schedule 4, new Schedule 4 be read a second time. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay.
Nays.
The ayes have it. I now put the question. I now put the question, the new Schedule 4 as amended be part of the bill. As many of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many of the contrary opinion say nay.
Nays.
The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 2.
Clause 2 has no amendments. I propose the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. I now put the question, Clause 2 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Long title.
Long title, has no amendment. I propose that the long title of the bill be the long title of the bill. I now put the question that the long title be the long title of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Clause 1.
Clause 1 has no amendment. I propose the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question, Clause 1 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
I wish to move the motion that the committee do report its consideration of the Machakos County Abattoirs Bill number 7 of 2020 and its approval thereof with amendments.
I propose the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of Machakos County Abattoirs Bill number 7 of 2020 and its approval thereof with with amendments. I put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of Machakos County Abattoirs Bill number 7, 2020, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as of the opinion say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, members. I think now we'll report back to the Speaker.
Good afternoon. I think you have done, the committee of the whole house has been done, but I've just been informed that there's a clause which was moved as if it did not have amendments, while it had amendments in it. And therefore, what I'm going to do is that I want the committee of the whole house to convene again for a short while to be able to correct that anomaly, so we can be able to capture in the answer the correct thing, and then we shall come back again and continue from there. So, Mr. Clerk, proceed. I think you call the committee of the whole house, Mr. Clerk.
Committee of the whole house, recommit of Schedule 2, Schedule 1.
Okay.
Members, order. Okay, sorry for that. They proposed no amendment Schedule 1, but we understand this. There is amendments. So we are reconsidering only Schedule 1. Clerk?
Committee of the whole house, recommittal of Schedule 1. Schedule 1.
Schedule 1 as amendments. I propose the question, Schedule 1 be part of the bill.
I move that Schedule 1 be amended as proposed.
I propose the question that Schedule 1 be amended as proposed. I now put the question that Schedule 1 be amended as proposed. As many as of the opinion say ayes. Ayes. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, Schedule 1 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say ayes. Ayes. As many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.
You can move the motion that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Machakos County Abattoir Bills number 7 of 2020 and has approved the same with amendments. Thank you.
I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, Honorable Speaker, and I request Honorable Nicholas Muya to second.
Honorable Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Chairman. I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I now put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as our opinions say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 9. The Machakos County Abattoirs Bill 2020, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11, Machakos County Bills number 7, third reading by leave of the House.
Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order number 131, Suborder 21, I wish Honorable Moses Mita, the chairperson, to move the third reading. You need to get this page.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 131-2, I beg to move the motion that the Machakos County Abattoirs Bill 2020 to brackets Machakos County Bill number 7 be now read a third time. Honorable Speaker, again I wish to call Honorable Nicholas Muya to second my motion. Thank you.
Honorable Nicholas Muya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Chairman. I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Machakos County Abattoirs Bill 2020, Machakos County Bill number 7, be now read a third time. If there is anybody who has any comment to make on this, although if there was any comment, I would have expected to have been made during the Committee of the Whole House. Is there anybody with any comment before I move on? I go ahead and put the question. Okay, I invite the mover of the motion, who is the chairperson, to give a comment or two before we put the question. Honorable Moses.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I first want to applaud my committee members for their input, which they have given towards the actualization of this bill. I want to appreciate my colleagues, Honorable Speaker, for their input as well, both in the Assembly and when we were doing public participation, Honorable Speaker. Again, I want to applaud my committee clerks for working tirelessly to ensure that this bill comes out a success. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank your office for facilitation and enabling us undertake anything which was needed for actualization of this bill, Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the executive because they, at a certain stage, we also required their input. And above all, I want to thank the residents of Machakos who gave their inputs through public participation. And one thing I must assure every stakeholder who was involved in the in coming up with this bill, that every input has been considered and has been taken into consideration, Honorable Speaker. And I believe that this bill, once it becomes law, Honorable Speaker, will now be able to control matters related to abattoirs within our county. Because, Honorable Speaker, in between the journey, I gave reasons as to why we found it good to come up with such a bill, which we think it will assist the county government of Machakos in different ways, Honorable Speaker, and as well as the residents of Machakos in matters related to health, on the health of the meat they consume, Honorable Speaker. So I want to thank everybody. I want to applaud the committee, and I hope that this bill will be a success once it's implemented. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Moses. I now put a question that the Machakos County Abattoirs Bill 2020, Machakos County Bill number 7, be now read a third time. As many as our opinions say ayes.
Aye.
As many of the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Now, I request the clerk to read the long title of this act.
An act of County Assembly of Machakos to provide for the establishment and regulation of abattoirs and for connected purposes.
Thank you, honorable members. You have now passed that bill. It has now become an act. It will only await the consent of the governor and it becomes a law. And I congratulate the chairman and the House for enacting that much needed act on abattoirs for the county. One thing which I would like honorable members to remember is that I do not expect to see any member who does not have a mask on in the House. And the mask should be properly put, covering both mouth and nose. If your mask is not covering both mouth and nose, I'll have no alternative other than to request that you leave the chamber, because these are guidelines for COVID, and as you all know, we have Omicron. Honorable Jeremiah, I expect you, after finishing that water, to put your mask properly. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 10, the Machakos County Climate Change Amendment Bill 2021, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 14, Machakos County Bills number 6, second reading, continuation of debate.
Honorable members, this climate change amendment bill 2021, it's being stated here as continuation of debate, but from the information which I had gathered earlier is that there were some issues which arose when this bill was presented before the House, the report last week, and the report had to go back to ensure that everything which the honorable members had suggested needed to be put in the report have been included in the report. Therefore, it shall not be a condition of debate. I would like the chairman to read the report so that members can be able now to confirm that the issues which they had raised last week, which made the report be taken back, have now been properly captured in the report, and those amendments are also captured in the Hansard. Honorable Robert Kising.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that guideline. It's a continuation of the report, and I hope we have now rectified and captured the right things. Through your guidance, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I'm going to start it over again or I'm going to. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Speaker, there is the changes in the justification.
There are changes in the justification.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let us start with 4.0.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will right away start there. The committee, in its task of understanding the process of doing amendments, was necessitated by the following issues. One, the bill assigns the functions of the administering the fund to a fund administrator whose qualifications and criteria of appointment is not clearly provided. To ensure prudent management of the fund, the committee recommends that the functions, qualifications, and appointment of the fund administrator as enshrined in the PFM Act be herein captured with the approval of the Assembly. Two, that there is need to clearly define the roles of the steering committee and the planning committees to avoid duplication of roles. Three, that the Principal Act assigns the role of signatory to state officers, which is against the PFM Act. Four, the officers in some departments like health are included in the administrative structure of the climate change despite it being unrelated. The committee therefore chose to consider only departments that are relevant to climate change and do away with those whose relevance is far-reached. Five, the Principal Act assigns duties to national government officers like the National Drought Coordinator, NEMA representative, etc. The committee chose to delete from the membership officers from the national government like the Drought Management Officer and a NEMA officer whose responsibility is not vested with the county government. Six, the membership of some of the committees is not inclusive. The amendment.
Just a minute, Honorable Kisini. Honorable Kisila.
Honorable Speaker, this is a very important bill. And it's a bill which is touching on the future of our county, including members' contributions. Honorable Speaker, we do not have a quorum, and I think it's important that members take this bill seriously. And I'm just bringing it to your attention that we don't have a quorum, and it is good that we can take the appropriate actions, that we can have a quorum, so that we pursue the bill in the right way.
Honorable Whip, can the Honorable Whips please go and whip members and show me the outside chamber, please? Can I see the outside chamber? There's nobody in the outside chamber, so please go ahead and let us have the bell ringing for 5 minutes, please, so we can be able to get quorum in the house.
Honorable Speaker, I think now we have quorum to undertake our business.
Thank you. Let's go ahead. Stop ringing the bell and we go ahead, please. Honorable Kisini, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian, one of our committee members, for noticing that. 6, the membership of the committee is not inclusive. The amendment was done in order to bring the element of inclusivity in the membership of these committees. Machakos County Climate Change Amendment Bill 2021, 5, publication in the first reading and a committal to committee. Honorable Speaker, the Machakos County Climate Change Amendment Bill 2021 was published on 11th November 2021, and the bill was read for the first time on 17th November 2021 during the Bunge Mashinani in Athi River Ward, pursuant to Standing Order numbers 118 and 119. Honorable Speaker, the bill, having been read for the first time, was committed to the Committee on Environment pursuant to Standing Order number 120/1, thus states that a bill having been read a first time shall stand committed to the relevant sectoral committee without question put. Upon committal of the bill, the committee interrogated the bill in several meetings, conducted public participation through request of memoranda and amend recommendations. 5.1, public participation of the bill. Honorable Speaker, Standing Order number 123 provides that the sectoral committee to which a bill is committed shall facilitate public participation and shall take into account the views and recommendations of the public when the committee makes its report to the House. Further, Article 196(1)(b) provides that a county assembly shall facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative and other businesses of the assembly and its committees. Honorable Speaker, the principle of public participation holds that those who are affected by a decision have a right to be involved in the decision-making process. It seeks and facilitates for involvement of those potentially affected by or interested in a decision. The Committee on Environment, through a letter dated 6th December 2021, forwarded memoranda to various stakeholders, giving a notice of 7 days to request for submissions on the contents of the bill. The memoranda partly read, the County Assembly of Machakos, established under Article 176(1) of the Constitution, is vested with the legislative power under Article 185(1) and 2 of the Constitution. It is on this basis that your attention is drawn to the Machakos County Climate Change Amendment Bill 220. As published and an invitation extended to you to submit your views on the bill to the Sectoral Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. Honorable Speaker, on 13th December 2021 at 5 p.m., no submissions had been received in the provided emails from the various stakeholders requested. 6, recommendations on proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, after scrutiny of the bill and after conducting public participation, the committee made recommendations on the following key areas. A, the steering committee on the matter of membership and the functions. B, the county planning committee on the matter of membership and functions. C, the ward planning committee on the membership and qualifications. D, establishment of climate change directorate. E, office of the fund administrator on appointment, qualifications, functions, and distribution of funds. 6.1, the steering committee, that 611 membership, Honorable Speaker. Section 7 for 15, Section 7 provided for 15 members to comprise the steering committee. Guided by the Code of Good Governance for State Corporations, members considered the steering committee to be at the level of board or council whose membership is provided to range from 7 to 9 members. Hence, the membership of 15 is contrary to the principle of good governance. The committee recommended that the steering committee shall comprise of 9 members as follows. 1, Deputy Governor as chairperson. 2, Executive Committee member in charge of climate change as secretary. 3, Executive Committee member in charge of agriculture. 5, Executive Committee member in charge of water. 6, a representative of the public benefit organization nominated by the most representative registered association of civil societies working in climate change in Machakos County. 7, a representative of the private sector nominated by the body representing the largest number of institutions in the private sector operating in Machakos County. 8, a youth representative who is a member of National Youth Council. 9, a PLWD representative registered within the National Council for Persons Living with Disabilities, nominated by the Machakos chapter. On the qualifications of appointment for persons under number 6, 7, 8, and 9, the committee recommends on the following qualifications. A, has demonstrable experience, expertise, and interest on issues of climate change, natural resource management, or environmental conservation. B, has actively and publicly engaged in matters stated in paragraph A within the county for 5 years preceding the nominations. C, is a citizen of Kenya. D, is a resident of the county. E, must hold a bachelor's degree. And F, meets the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. On the membership of this committee, the amendment bill addresses removal of the following members, which the committee also concurred with. A, deletion of National Government Officer for Coordination of Drought, County Director of Meteorology, and County Representative of NEMA from the Principal Act, since the said officers report to the national government. B, deletion of County Executive Member for Health in the Principal Act, since the Department of Health is not relevant at mitigation level to climate change. C, the committee considered the amendment bill that provided for four chief officers to be members of the steering committee. The committee recommends removal of chief officers from steering committee to county planning committee because chief officers, they are policy implementers. Further, the committee recommends A, insertion of the words, and particularly immediately after the word coordinated in Section 6J for the purpose of clarity of information.
Insertion of the words and participatory.
Sorry, let me read it again. A, insertion of the words and participatory immediately after the words coordinated in Section 6J for the purpose of clarity of information. B, on amendment number 5 of the amendment bill, retain Section 7(4) and 5 of the Principal Act on the procedure of gazettement of the members. C, deletion of Section 7(6) on gazettement of non-state member. D, on amendment number 7 of the amendment bill that addresses section 9 of the Principal Act to be retained as in the Principal Act. 7.1.2, functions of the steering committee. Honorable Speaker, on this section, the committee recommends A, deletion of coordination and oversight function from the steering committee as indicated in the amendment bill. This is because coordination function is the best suited to County Planning Committee, which will be required to coordinate and implement policies as issued by the steering committee and the projects as proposed by the ward planning committees. B, deletion of the function of approval and oversight of implementation of programs from the steering committee and the function be transferred to County Planning Committee. C, deletion of the words and administer in 6C and the word approve in 6D. This is because administration and approval roles are for the County Planning Committee. 8. The County Planning Committee. Honorable Speaker, the amendment bill provides for the removal of the County Planning Committee. The committee recommends A, restatement of the County Planning Committee, which is a very crucial committee in carrying out implementation of policy directions. The committee observed that the best suited officer in the committee are the chief officers and the director of climate change. B, replacing all the directors therein with chief officers except for director climate change to raise the status of planning committee to enable the implementation and the harmonization of climate change policy. C, reducing the membership to 9 by removing the director health, since the department is not directly related to climate change, and the county representative of drought coordination, representative of NEMA, representative of meteorology, because these officers are under the national government and may not take instructions from the county government. D, that the County Planning Committee shall therefore comprise of the following members. Membership: the chief officer, who shall be the chairperson, the director in charge of climate change, who shall be the secretary. 3, the chief officer responsible for the county treasury. 4, the chief officer responsible for the matters relating to agriculture. 5, the chief officer responsible for matters relating to water. 6, a man and a woman from public benefit organization working on climate change matters. 7, one youth representative from the PWDs who is registered with the National Council for Persons Living with Disabilities. 8, a representative of the private sector nominated by the body representing the largest number of institutions in the private sector operating in Machakos County. The fund administrator shall be ex-official member of the planning committee without voting rights. On the functions of the County Planning Committee, the committee recommends the approval and oversight functions to be included as follows. A, approve and oversee the implementation in the county of comprehensive program of climate change education awareness, creation, and capacity building. Number 9, the Ward Planning Committee. Honorable Speaker, on the membership of the committee recommends, A, Removal of 4 members from the various representations reduces the overall membership from 12 to 8, including the secretary, who shall be ex-officio member. The deduction was guided by the factor of inclusivity and relevance to the requirements of the ward unit, which will be the implementing site of climate change programs. B, deletion of the ward administrator as the secretary of the ward planning committee, owing to the fact that there will be a climate change officer who is proposed by the committees to be the secretary of the ward planning committee. This officer will be appointed by the director climate change. C, that the ward planning committee shall comprise of the following membership. A chairperson who is a resident of the ward with knowledge of demonstrated experience on matters relating on environment and climate change. 2, climate change officer nominated by the director from the Department of Climate Change, who shall be secretary, ex officio without voting rights. 3, a representative of the youth. 4, a representative of the woman. A representative of the women. Number 5, a representative of persons living with disability who ordinarily resides in the ward, who is registered with the National Council for Persons Living with Disabilities. Number 6, a representative of the business community who ordinarily resides in the ward. 7, a representative of faith-based organizations, being persons who ordinarily resides in the ward. 8, a representative of the public benefit organizations who resides within the ward. On the functions of the ward planning committee, the committee recommends insertion of the following functions. A, confirm and ascertain to satisfactory that a project has been done well before payment is done. B, perform any functions as may be assigned by the County Planning Committee for the attainment of the objectives of this Act. The additional roles were arrived at after considering the fact that this committee is the actual implementer of the ward projects. On the qualifications, the committee recommends that a member of the ward planning committee shall qualify for appointment if the person, A, is a resident of the ward, B, meets the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, C, demonstrates basic knowledge of climate change and environmental issues, D, possesses a minimum of certificate for secondary education for the rest of committee members, committee members, yes. E, in the case of a chairperson ordinarily resides in the ward and is a holder of a minimum qualification of a diploma in an environmental related field. Further, the committee recommends that the convener of the meeting for election of the chairperson and the ward planning committee members shall be the climate change officer appointed by the director. Honorable Brian Kesila had a dissenting opinion on the qualification of the chairperson, that the chairperson of the ward planning committee must have a minimum of bachelor's degree in the relevant field, given that the responsibility bestowed to this chairperson is anonymous and of significant prominence in the world. 10, the Climate Change Directorate. Honorable Speaker, the amendment bill provides for the Climate Change Unit as is also in Section 10 of the Principal Act. The Climate Change Unit was administratively set up and was administratively set up as an ad hoc measure pursuant to the Climate Change Act 2016 requirement for gazettement of CECMs responsible for climate change. The committee therefore recommends A, that the appropriate approach is to set up a County Climate Change Directorate headed by a director. The County Director of Climate Change shall be recruited competitively by the County Public Service Board with approval of the Assembly. B, that the director shall be responsible for the performance of specific duties and the functions of the directorate as set out in this act. C, the directorate shall have such other staffs as may be appointed by the County Public Service Board for the efficient execution of its functions. On the matter of qualifications of the Climate Change Director, the committee recommends the following qualifications. 1, be a citizen of Kenya. 2, be a bachelor's degree holder in any of the following fields. 1, environmental studies, environmental engineering, meteorology, climatology, environmental law, community development, public administration, economics. 3, have at least 5 years experience in the relevant field. And then 4, meets the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. On the functions of the director, the committee recommends on the following functions. 1, the director shall be responsible for operational coordination and implementation of all climate change response measures and actions in the county. 2, without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing subsections, the director shall A, coordinate the implementation of County Climate Change Action Plan, County Climate Change Finance Framework, and other climate change-related policies, plans, programs, and projects. B, coordinate and provide technical support to the relevant county government departments to integrate and mainstream climate change response measures and actions into all county government-related government development policies, plans, programs, and projects. C, provide capacity building and the technical support to communities and other stakeholders in the county to formulate and implement low carbon development strategies and actions to build resilience and enhance adaptive capacity to climate change. D, coordinate climate change related research activities, knowledge dissemination, and public awareness in the county. E, coordinate public participation and facilitate access to information pertaining to climate change with regard to all development plans, programs, and projects in the county. F, coordinate measurement, reporting, and verification of all climate change policies, plans, programs, and projects in the county. And then G, be a signatory to the fund. 11, the fund administrator, signatories, and distribution of funds. The fund administrator is key person in the implementation of climate change action plans, and that such person needs to be highly qualified. On this basis, and on the matter of recruitment, and the committee on this basis and on the matter of recruitment, the committee recommends that A, the fund shall be administered by a full administrator competitively. And the fund shall be administered by a fund administrator competitively recruited by the County Public Service Board and approved by the County Assembly, and designated as such by the Executive Committee member for Finance in accordance with Section 116(2) of the Public Finance Act 2012. On qualifications, the committee recommends on the following qualifications. 1, a minimum of bachelor's degree in finance, economics, or business administration. 2, a minimum of 5 years experience in the management of finance. 3, membership of a recognized professional body. On the basis of the fund administrator, the committee recommends on the following functions. A, prepare accounts for the fund for each financial year. B, not later than 3 months after the end of each financial year, submit financial statements relating to those accounts to the County Assembly. C, ensure that the accounts for the fund and the annual financial statements relating to those accounts comply with the accounting standards prescribed and published by the Accounting Standards Board from time to time. D, provide mechanism for daily operations of the fund. E, ensure quality assurance in execution of the mandate of the fund. F, provide technical assistance to the Ward Planning Committee. G, shall process and ensure timely disbursements of project funds as approved by the County Planning Committee. On the signatories to the fund, the committee recommends that the signatories to the bank account shall be 1, fund administrator who shall be a mandatory signatory. 2, chief officer in charge of climate change. 3, director climate change. Further, the committee recommends that checks for administrative expenses shall be signed by any 2 of the signatories, but checks to service providers for projects shall be signed by all 3 signatories, provided that the fund administrator shall sign all checks issued from the fund. On the matter on distribution of funds, the committee recommends that A, all projects shall originate from the wards. B, the amounts will be distributed in the following manner. I, administrative and allowances, 5%, which shall include awareness creation, trainings, and capacity building. 2, the remaining 95% of the fund shall be utilized by the projects proposed by the Ward Planning Committee, and approved by the Planning Committee as follows: 80% equally distributed among all wards and 20% equitably. Conclusion. Honorable Speaker, human activity is influencing the global climate change in a negative way. Climate change exacerbates the threat of human-caused conflict resulting from a scarcity of resources like food and water that are less reliable on growing seasons, change and seasons become less predictable. Honorable Speaker, many of these impacts are happening disproportionately in low-income, indigenous, or marginalized communities. Around the globe, many of the poorest nations are being impacted first and most severely by climate change. Even though they have contributed far less to the increase in carbon emissions that has caused the warming in the first place, climate change is therefore a critical area of concern which all nations should rise and embrace measures to mitigate or adapt to its effects. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore my duty on behalf of the Committee on Environment to table this report on Machakos Climate Change Amendment Bill 2021 to this Honorable House for the decision and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Robert Kisini, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Robert Kisini. Honorable members, I believe the question has been proposed in the last meeting, but I'll propose again that this House discusses the motion that the Machakos County Climate Change Amendment Bill 2021, Machakos County Bill number 6, be now read a second time. Honorable members, you may comment on this. Honorable Moses Mita.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity again to give my input. I first want to applaud the Chairman, Environment, Honorable Kisini Robert, for working together with this team tirelessly. Honorable Speaker, I know after referring the bill back to the committee, it must have been very tasking, and they must have ensured that again will not take it back to them. Honorable Speaker, I want to applaud my colleagues because they are very much awake, especially after going wrong with the municipalities charter, Honorable Speaker. And being the body, or else the body which is tasked to ensure that we have proper laws, and the laws we pass are up to the standard and they are implemented well, Honorable Speaker. We came to find that sometimes because of either negligence or lack of concentration, we somehow allow some loopholes to pass. And we only come to realize these loopholes upon implementation of what we have passed, Honorable Speaker. So I want to thank the team because I've been following keenly, very keenly, Honorable Speaker. I can assure you. They worked on Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend they were still working, Honorable Speaker. To an extent, I didn't even think that they'll be able to beat deadline and have this report ready for tabling today. I want to thank them for that. It deserves recognition, Honorable Speaker. And I believe, Honorable Kisini, after the bill is passed, you'll be able to take your committee somewhere for refreshment, Honorable Chair, because they have done marvelous. And I'm proud to be part of the assembly which will pass this law, because even after retiring from politics, this is something we'll live with, and its due implementation will be a success, not to us, but even to generations to come. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Justice Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to really applaud the chair and the committee for that great work they have done over the weeks they have been sitting for the same. We retreated on the same report before it came to the House last week, and I'm happy that most of the recommendation, because I'm not part of the committee, but we treated as a House, and therefore most of the recommendations that I also gave in contributing to the bill were captured. One of the corrections I would wish to just address the chair is that we don't say National Council for People Living with Disabilities. National Council for Persons with Disabilities. We are not living with it. We are people with disabilities. And therefore, that's something that you need to correct going forward. Then I have to say matters to do with the climate are very crucial during this time we are living in. The context and the philosophy that is running across the bill is to make sure that we give mitigation measures and make sure that we don't leave loopholes. One of the things I've noted with this bill going through is that the quality of making bills has gone up, that we are too picky to make sure that there are no loopholes, because, of course, we have known where we have been going wrong, and now we can correct to make sure that our oversight is really felt and is measurable. And therefore, I want to thank the committee and the whole House and everybody who contributed. I think going forward, we'll have something to be able to cheer and something that will carry on for posterity, even if we have left this assembly. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Very much. Honorable Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing the people of Wamonyo Ward. Mr. Speaker, let me start by thanking the Chair and the committee for this good work done. And Mr. Speaker, I say it has come in the good time that we are in the times of climate change. Remember, recently we had the devolution conference on this matter, and the world over was in Glasgow just talking about the same. And down here, we are taking action on the same. Mr. Speaker, I want to say it's a good job, and I want to thank them, especially when you see the share the committee has given that 80% of the funds be shared equally, and the 20% of the funds be shared equitably. This is some sort of equalization fund where those marginalized wards like Wamonyo, Kibaoni, and others like Modesia, and those who have been marginalized can be considered in the marginalized, in that equitable share of those areas which have been hardly hit. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to support and approve this, and also say that it's important for us to see to it that the fund and strata securities is there. Because when we have these big funds of this nature, then the security of the fund and strata for all this good job to be seen is the security of his job. We can see the exit, the qualifications, and that, the entrance and the qualification, but the exit should be safeguarded so that nobody is being told, if you don't do this, I'll chase you from this job. So that the exit might be also from this house. You do the entrance through the service board, approved by the House, and the exit again comes to this House so that the security of this person is secured and the work can be delivered to our expectations. The other thing is on the issue of the ward committees. I think the Act should also empower the ward committees very much so that everything is controlled from that point. The identification process and all those. And also the approval when the works have been done and the approval by the committee is to be done. I've had a word there, Mr. Speaker, which said if the work is well done, but well is relative and a comparative. So it's important that it's defined to be after the scope of work has been done, but not well done, because well will depend on what well is well. So it's a good report, and it's a good bill, and I think I urge the House to support, and as we go on, any amendments thereof which can be called, then they may be done, because it's the first time we are actualizing it, and then if any deviations are seen that we need to correct, then in future that would be necessary to be done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Kingori.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also stand to support the report and also congratulate my chairman for making this bill to be one of the best in Machakos. What I would like to clarify is only on the issue of the division, so that we can understand what this division of 80 and 20% means. Because after 5% is when we speak about 95% of the remaining fund. That means it's not the whole amount which is being targeted when we are dividing, but the remaining 95%. That's the key one, so that we don't confuse the whole amount and the balance of the money at hand. So it's 80% of 95% of the remaining 95%, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Brian Kisela.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Brian Kisila, representing the people of Mwala. I would like to start by thanking my chairman and the committee for a good job they have done. I'm also a member of this committee. We took the challenge from the House, and we spent a lot of time looking at areas where there were loopholes. As Honorable Mita has put it, the bill on climate change, on municipality, the charter, we did take enough time to look at it very critically. And that's why there was a few loopholes in the charter. But now, we have taken a lot of time to go through the document. And I'd like to draw the members' attention to Ward Planning Committee. And I'd like to take what Mheshimiwa Mutinda has talked very well about how do we ensure projects are well done. Maybe we need to put scope of works. That is a good correction, because a job well done, you don't know, it is a bit naive. Maybe we need to take that recommendation.
Yes, I agree with this. Scope of work including BQs.
BQs, yeah.
Bill of quantities for the whatever project it is. So scope of work and bill of quantities,
Yes.
agree.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had a dissenting view, and I want us to discuss that dissenting view, because when you leave laymen to be appointed on the ground, you subject a lot of manipulation. And you saw in the municipal charter, some of the people who have been appointed can be easily be manipulated. Mr. Speaker, when we are appointing chairmen of secondary schools, we insist that they should be university graduates with a bachelor's degree. Now we are having a lot of money in climate change. Every ward will receive no less than 40, 50 million. One of the challenges we've been having in Mwala sub-county, and where we differed, was on the appointment hospital chairman members. You realize the hospital chairman are normally unpicked, and they end up picking just anybody, and hence making it very easy for manipulation. It is my humble request to the House that you consider, I'm not saying education is the only thing, but to put seriousness into the climate change fund, please consider taking the bar a bit higher. These will avoid manipulation, and these will avoid people being taken for granted. So I don't know how you're going to guide us on that dissenting voice, Mr. Speaker. The other issue which I want to bring to your attention is what Mheshimiwa Mutinda has actually said, and I agree with him. It has kept our attention. The security of tenure for the fund manager is very important. Yes, we have talked about the appointment, but we have not talked about how do you remove the fund manager. I don't know if my fellow committee members can add some voice on that. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank my chairman, my committee, and as well Honorable Kingori. There is no one time I have ever seen Honorable Kingori so committed to a bill like this one. He went out of his way. He went out of his way to ensure that all of us took this bill very seriously. And his knowledge was well articulated in these committee meetings. And he stood for what is right, especially on taking the power to the ward committee. Because we did not want the steering committee to be the ones doing everything. The work is at the ward committee. And I think he has given a lot of wisdom. And I would like to appreciate him for that. And the entire house would appreciate. When we're having that drink, I think Mheshimiwa Kingori will have more of the drinks than us, because he has done a very good job. So, Mr. Speaker, I will want your guidance on that dissenting voice. And also, Mr. Speaker, before I forget, we also talked about directorate. Introduction of directorate. That's where the ball is. And the signatories, we did not want to leave it hanging without clearly defining who is accountable to this money. And we have put the signatories very well so that we can have proper accountability, and that the person who is going to be accountable is also answerable to this house. So I want your guidance, Mr. Speaker, on the dissenting voice and on security of tenure. How do you ensure security of tenure for the fund manager? Because that's the most important person according to us. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Anybody else who has a comment on this? Honorable Kissin, you may respond. You may respond as the mover of the motion. Please respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think today is not like the other day. I am feeling I'll breathe a sigh of relief. I want to thank each and every member who is here. I want to thank my committee members who seriously sat on this. And I want to agree that maybe from that day we had not seen the need. But I want to say that after we sat down again, yes, Mr. Speaker, I saw there was a lot of loopholes, and we really sat on them, and we came into agreement. I want to thank the entire committee, and I also want to thank some two members, I don't want to mention their names, who tirelessly really had a lot of input on this. I want to say thank you. Mr. Speaker, you have heard, we have really worked on this document. We have really tried to check the loopholes and to seal them. And we have really tried to see if this money, climate change money, can benefit the Mwananchi. Just to answer on 1 or 2 or 3 issues which you have been just asked for guidance. At the level of ward committee, we really discussed, and we really discussed a lot with all the members and several times. And we had seen that since we have the 3 other committees, the planning and the directorate committees, those planning committee, because they are attracting a high level of education, we said that we might not get somebody of that level at the ward, and so most of us agreed that let's have a diploma level to head the ward committee, and then maybe the other committees will be headed by those learned friends. However, with all due respect, there was that dissenting voice, and it's good that it has also been brought to the House, and we have been asked for guidance, but that is how we came about it. We voted on that severally, and that is how we came on that. Maybe, Mr. Speaker, you will show us how you might put that control which was put by Honorable Mutinda about the abuse of these officers we have employed, so that we can incorporate. I think our clerks in the table are noting. And I think, Mr. Speaker, really we have agreed on many things. I just sit down saying thank you and wait for your guidance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also from the chair, I would like to thank the committee and the chairman and the members for your active participation in ensuring that this county is going to get a bill or an act on climate change, which is fit for purpose. What I can say is that there are two issues which have been raised here, which I would like to give my guidance on. The first one is on the issue of the qualification. We have heard what the committee discussed and what they voted and what they agreed to come out with. It is important also to view the voices of the discerning person. I've looked at the report, and I'm seeing we are talking about diploma in environmental matters. And it might be more difficult for you to get somebody with a diploma in environmental matters, and more easier for you to get somebody with a degree in environmental matters than diploma. Because most of these small institutions do not teach environmental studies because nobody will pay for them. You'll only find that is at a university degree level where you'll find people doing environmental related studies. So you might put a qualification here of somebody whom you might be very difficult for you to find. So I would like to say that on that one, Honorable Kisila, you might need to move an amendment so that, and you get a seconder, so that we can be able to put it before the plenary and for the honorable members to discuss on it. Secondly, the other item is on the security of tenure, a very important point which has been brought about by Honorable Thomas Mutinda. It would be toothless of a fund administrator to be approved by the assembly, but if it does not conform to the whims of whoever is going to be, they are sacked. And another one appointed who will be told, you saw what happened to the last one, and therefore would have to toe the line. I would also propose that we look for ways of incorporating security of tenure for this incumbent in this bill. So that, and my suggestion would be it should be for at least the term of the assembly. So that you are saying that you are giving a security of tenure for 3 or 5 years, security of tenure, so that he knows that for within that period of time, he cannot be, and more so, the guideline would be that he can only be removed by the county assembly. If there are any disciplinary issues, because human is to err also, you might put somebody there and they themselves also go into disciplinary issues. Then we might need to put clauses there that whatever the approving authority shall be the sacking authority. So whatever evidence is provided for disciplinary action against this person is presented before the House, goes to the committee interrogates it, and then brings a report to the plenary, so the plenary can be able to make a decision on that person. That needs to be incorporated. And I hope the Luke and the Secretariat are capturing this information. My guidance, therefore, is that I am not going to put the question now. I'll allow you to move those amendments to make those adjustments today, and we shall handle it as a first business tomorrow, whereby Honorable Brian Kisela, you may move those amendments, and Motinda, you might move the whatever amendments you want to move. Then, once they are debated and agreed upon, then we can go ahead and now put the question, including those amendments, instead of rushing through it and then finding an obstacle up front. Since tomorrow is still an assembly day, I'll propose this goes back to the House business. It shall be balloted as the first business tomorrow when we resume in the morning. We move those amendments, incorporate them in the bill, and come out with a bill which is serving everybody. Honorable Kingori.
Mr. Speaker, I want also to inform you that we did not give a diploma. We just said minimum of a diploma, not a diploma, but a minimum. So the degree is also incorporated there. So when you have a degree, it's another advantage, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's also an added, it's a good view. I think it needs to, in tomorrow's amendments, that can be able to come out clearly. The other thing which Honorable Kingori has clarified, I think, and which is also good, is the 100% we are talking about here, 80 and 20, is the 95%. After removing the 5% for administration and all those other things, it's 95%. But also personally, what I have liked about it is that 80% of that will be shared equally amongst all the 40 wards. That is fantastic. And then 20% equitably. Equitably means where we see there's a need, because we are not all the same. The wards are not all the same levels. Obviously, there'll be some wards which will be lagging behind, and they might need a little bit more financing. I think that is why I'm saying this bill has gone through some good brain work, and I believe that has come out quite clearly. On the issue of the municipal charter, yes, we made mistakes on that bill and on that act. And my suggestion would be that this House, when we resume again in January, before we leave here, we must make amendments to that act. Reason being, remember we proposed to create additional municipalities. Once we create those additional municipalities, and they are guided by the same laws which we made here, then we might end up finding ourselves in trouble in future. And therefore, it would be good for that to be revisited, yes, just to ensure that by the time we leave here, we have left acts or bills and acts in place which are more practical than what we saw now with the current municipal charter bill. And I would be requesting the Secretariat to know that, so the relevant committee, which is also the committee of Honorable Kisini, can be able to say that we'll need to revisit those acts. They are not cast on stone. There are things you can be able to amend and make sure they are as progressive as this bill which has been brought by the Environment Committee. With that, honorable members, the House stands adjourned to resume tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th day of December, 2021 at 10 a.m. Enjoy your evening.